Alright, what is up everybody? It's Lids, and today we are playing Mass Effect 2 Legendary Edition. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what Mass Effect is of course an RPG sci-fi story-driven game, and it is of course the second of a series. And so, we have of course just finished our Mass Effect 1 playthrough, so as a heads up for those of you who have not played Mass Effect 1 or seen anyone play Mass Effect 1, just let it be known that, of course, we will be making some comparisons to what we've done in Mass Effect 1, what the gameplay was like, and talk about some of our previous decisions and how they play out in Mass Effect 2. That being said, this is actually, of all the Mass Effect trilogy games, it is the game of the trilogy that I have gone the longest without playing. Regardless of Legendary Edition, I'd gone back and played Mass Effect 1 several times previously. This is actually only my second time playing Mass Effect 2, so for that reason, maybe a little bit less of a walkthrough 100% and more of a, well, trip down memory lane and trying to recall how exactly all this stuff plays out, but it is, in many cases, I believe, considered by the general public the most popular, or at least the most critically acclaimed of all the Mass Effect games, so I'm very excited to get back into the action, and we'll still do everything we can to get this as close to a quote-unquote 100% playthrough as possible. So, let's hop in. Okay, so of course, we'll be starting a new game here, and we will import our character from Mass Effect 1, so of course, like I said, Mass Effect 2 is the second of the trilogy, Mass Effect trilogy, and therefore there will be a lot of carryover from what we've done in Mass Effect 1 into Mass Effect 2. So, let's see, we have, well, our character that we had at the end of Mass Effect 1, which was level 57. 60 is the cap, I believe. And you do get bonuses for importing a character. If you start out Mass Effect 2 just without having done Mass Effect 1 at all, I believe you start out as, well, level 1, as you might imagine. I think if you import a character from Mass Effect 1 into Mass Effect 2, though, you start out at level 2, and if you are at the level cap at the end of your Mass Effect 1 playthrough, that level cap being 60, and I think you get even more power and maybe some more resources at the start of Mass Effect 2, so that can help you out as well. Then when it comes to difficulty, of course, if we were feeling super ambitious, we'd be going Insanity. We're not going that route, though. We did Veteran in Mass Effect 1, and toward the beginning, it was a little bit tough as we were just getting our character leveled up, powered up, and what have you. Then by the time we were approaching the end of the game, it became kind of easy. So, I think we're kind of somewhere in between Hardcore and Veteran here in terms of where we ought to be playing. If we go with Hardcore, there are definitely going to be times when it's going to be tricky for us. Might find ourselves dying a little more frequently. But I'm feeling like we at least give it a shot on Hardcore, and we might drop back down to Veteran later on. So, let's give it a shot here. And other than this, why don't we put subtitles on just in case, make it easy for all you guys. And auto level up, definitely not. Of course, you know, you could do this and either have your squad automatically get assigned skill points, or you could even have yourself get your skill points automatically assigned as well. But no, I think we'd prefer to do that manually. And then similarly, we will, of course, have teammates and AI-controlled teammates at that. So, you know, is it something that we want to be controlling them entirely, or do we want to have them automatically doing things? I think we will have them automatically doing things as well. So, this looks good. So, let's see. Our name, Lids Shepard. Sure, sounds good. Then, let's see. We can look through, of course, all of our stats from before. So, like I said, we were level 57, a Sentinel, Paragon, predominantly, almost entirely, although towards the end in particular, we did, you know, experiment a bit with some of the Renegade side of things, and for those of you who are new to Mass Effect, then this is sort of the morality system of the Mass Effect trilogy, Paragon being more so the virtuous, good guy, so to speak, whereas the Renegade being the other side, more so the tough, get the job done by any means, or the ends justify the means type of approach, which sometimes does border on outright evil / criminal actions, but, you know, we went the Paragon good guy route. Then, so these are all the big things that can happen, of course. Status of Rex. Rex survived the mission on Vermeer, which, I suppose, well, like I said, you've had your warning already for Mass Effect 1 spoilers, but, Rex can die, of course, in Mass Effect 1, but, we avoided that by, talking him out of, a potentially tricky situation. So he's still alive. And then, well, in terms of the after effects of Vermeer, in terms of which one of our teammates we had to sacrifice on the mission to make sure that we were able to blow up our adversary, Saren's base. Caden was the one who went down in the process. And this being one of the things that was maybe a little more of a deviation from our Paragon playthrough. At the end of the game, of course, we had the option of either saving or not saving the Council, that being the highest level of the galactic government. And so in my previous Mass Effect 1 playthroughs, I'd always saved the Council, and so I thought, I'd like to see what it's all about to well, not save them this time, which sounds terrible, but, they get replaced by other people. I'm sure everything will be fine. And then in terms of who we chose to represent humans on said Council, we chose Captain Anderson.
Shepard did everything right. More than we could have hoped for.
Commander Shepard uncovered the truth.
And still, it's not enough.
We're at war. No one wants to admit it, but humanity is under attack.
But they're sending him to fight Geth. Geth. We both know they're not the real threat. The Reapers are still out there.
And it's up to us to stop them.
The Council will never trust Cerberus. They'll never accept our help, even after everything humanity has accomplished. But Shepard, they'll follow him. He's a hero, a bloody icon. But he's just one man. If we lose Shepard, humanity might well follow.
Then see to it that we don't lose him.
Alright, well, 1 month after the devastating Geth attack on the Citadel in Mass Effect 1, humanity seized political control of the galaxy. Now the human-led council is forced to respond to evidence that the Reapers, enormous machines that eradicate all advanced civilizations every 50,000 years, have returned. To quell the rumors, the council has done something.
Disengaging FTL drives.
Oh, this music is also in Mass Effect 1 as well.
Board is green. We are running silent.
We're wasting our time. 4 days searching up and down this sector, and we haven't found any sign of Geth activity.
3 ships went missing here in the past month. Something happened to them.
My money's on slavers. The Terminus system is crawling with them.
Picking up something on the long-range scanner. Unidentified vessel. Looks like a cruiser.
Doesn't match any known signatures.
Cruiser is changing course. Now on intercept trajectory.
Can't be. Stealth systems are engaged. There's no way a Geth ship could possibly...
It's not the Geth. Brace for evasive maneuvers!
Okay. That doesn't look good.
Kinetic barriers down. Multiple hull breaches. Weapons offline. Somebody get that fire out.
Distress beacon is ready for launch.
Will the Alliance get here in time?
they'll be here. It does look like matters are a little dire at the moment. And just as a heads up, so whenever we're going through those sort of cutscene-like situations, for the most part, I'm going to try to let things play out and not talk over them unless we have something important to say.
The Alliance won't abandon us. We just need to hold on. Get everyone onto the escape shuttle.
Joker's still in the cockpit. He won't abandon ship. I'm not leaving either.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess there's no time to argue here.
I need you to get the crew onto the evac shuttle. I'll take care of Joker.
So we are, of course, Commander Shepard here.
Ashley, go. Now.
Aye, aye.
And this is actually, as we were talking about before, since we sacrificed Kane for Myron Mass Effect 1, this is the first time I've ever had a Mass Effect 2 or 3 playthrough in which Ashley is alive. So this is all new to me in that sense as well. She doesn't look very alive. Alright, so it looks like, for the most part, they have been able to escape. But the ship as a whole, the Normandy, not looking great here. Are those scraps of the ship? I think they are. Okay, well, now we're in control here.
Mayday! Mayday! This is SSV Normandy!
Alright, so we gotta go get Joker, who is our pilot, of course.
We've suffered heavy damage from an unknown enemy.
Ooh, okay, not going that way, apparently.
Come on, baby, hold together. Hold together.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, now, I'm pretty sure there's a hull breach. I love the way the sound, the music all dials back to nothing, and it's like, you know, you have this dramatic, I mean, and realistic situation here where, of course, no music, no sound in space. Just our breather.
Come on, Joker. We have to get out of here.
No, I won't abandon the Normandy. I can still save her.
Alright, come on, Joker. I mean, clearly, this is a sinking ship here. I know you might be thinking, well, Captain must go down with the ship, but, I mean, we're the commanding officer here, so, that's our job.
The Normandy's lost. Going down with the ship won't change that.
Yeah, okay. Help me up. They're coming around for another attack.
Oh, no. First one hit us seemingly extremely hard. That was only one attack. And two can't be good.
Watch the arm.
And so Joker has brittle bone disease, so he is finding this more difficult, perhaps, than others would. And hence why Shepard needs to help him out. But this is not good. And so we're just out here, floating around in space, which, you know, maybe our suit here can handle that for a little bit, but, can't imagine for long. As you can see here, the lack of pressure does appear to be causing quite a bit of damage, and of course, no way to stop our momentum here. So there you have it. There's the opening to Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect Genesis is an interactive comic that summarized the events of Mass Effect 1. Would we like to review the story so far? I am interested in it because I don't think I've ever actually looked at it before. However, I believe in many ways this is sort of a way for people who have not yet played or seen Mass Effect 1 to quickly familiarize themselves with what the lay of the land is, because one thing about Mass Effect is, as a whole, all three of the games are very in-depth, and of course, decisions that you make in one carry over into the next, and so on. And so, for that reason, there's a lot to catch up on, but I'm going to carry on here without it, I think just because, of course, we have played Mass Effect 1 already. Oh, I'm pretty sure I just told it. Just did exactly the opposite of what I said I was going to do. Did I actually open the comment?
Just another routine mission.
Oh well, we'll check it out.
Why do they always say that before a mission? Of course it's routine. You haven't done anything yet. It's everything that happens along the way. The choices you make, the paths you choose, that turn the routine into anything but. Of course, that's how it started. A routine mission, answering a distress call. And look where that got me. We were testing out the Normandy, Captain Anderson's new ship, when the distress call came in. An Alliance patrol on Eden Prime had been attacked. They'd seen something they couldn't explain. And whatever it was massive. I hit the ground with my lieutenant, Caden Olenko. A good kid, loyal, by the book, with a talent for biotics. We came across the lone survivor of the patrol, Gunnery Chief Ashley Williams. A soldier to the core. Tough, disciplined, ready to take on whatever came her way. Ashley joined up with us and took us to the spot where she lost her squad. That's when we saw it. The ship. Like nothing I'd ever seen. It was massive, scorching the colony and everything around it as it blasted away. We followed the path of destruction to an artifact, a beacon left by a long-dead race called the Protheans. The colony had dug it up, and whoever attacked them had tried to take it. Chief Williams made the mistake of getting too close. It hit her with some type of energy. I grabbed her and threw her out of the way. That's when it hit me. Hard. Every muscle in my body went rigid. I couldn't move, could barely breathe. Everything went black. And then I saw something. A vision. A dream. A nightmare. By the time I woke up, we were halfway to the Citadel on our way to meet the Council. I was expected to explain what I'd seen. Anderson came along. So did Adina, our political representative on the Citadel. With those two heavyweights, it seemed reasonable we could persuade the Council that the ship we'd seen was a potential threat, as was the individual behind the attacks. The main suspect for the Eden Prime massacre was a Turian Spectre named Saren. He'd been seen by one of the survivors from the colony at Eden Prime, and there was some evidence to suggest that the ship was connected to Saren. But even Adina's pointed accusations weren't enough to convince the Council. They just couldn't believe one of their chosen elite Spectres could be guilty of something like that. They needed proof, which meant I needed proof. Fortunately, I wasn't alone in my search. Garrus, another Turian, wanted to help. A top agent for Citadel Security. Despite orders from his superiors that he shouldn't get involved, he told me he was suspicious of Saren, and he had some useful leads. More importantly, he was willing to share them. That led me to Rex, the biggest, nastiest looking Krogan bounty hunter I'd ever seen. He turned out to be more than just a brute. It was his intel that led to a fugitive with incriminating evidence on Saren. The fugitive turned out to be an energetic little Quarian named Tali. A tech expert with a knack for hacking, she'd procured some information on Saren. Evidence that proved Saren was dirty. Tali's evidence proved that Saren was responsible for the massacre on Eden Prime, and that the immense warship we'd spotted was in fact Saren's flagship. But it went much further. Saren was trying to find a way to bring back a race of sentient machines from dark space. Machines allegedly responsible for cleansing the galaxy of all organic life. These Reapers were blamed for wiping out all life 50,000 years ago, including the Protheans, then disappearing back through the mass relays to dark space, leaving no trace they'd ever been. That explained why Saren was after the beacon, and it made some sense out of my visions. But not much else. We couldn't convince the Council that the Reapers were a threat, but they agreed Saren had to be stopped. They stripped him of his Spectre status and gave me the honor of becoming the first human Spectre. My first task? bring down Saren. Anderson decided to stay behind, giving up his ship, the Normandy. He told me I would need it more than he would. He also pointed me in a direction. Liara, a Prothean expert, adept in biotics, and maybe most importantly, daughter of Benezia, Saren's top lieutenant. And like most Asari, as beautiful as she is intelligent, and born with a unique ability to meld with other species. Liara was able to help me decipher some of the vision the beacon had given me. Nothing concrete, but it gave me some clues. And a new appreciation for the Asari. Her technique for accessing my vision was unexpected, but not at all unpleasant. Ashley was a little concerned about the connection I shared with Liara. As commander, I knew either relationship had the potential to interfere with the mission. I decided discretion was the better part of valor, and kept my focus on our goal, finding Saren. Thanks to Liara's help, we had our next lead, Benezia. Saren had taken her to Novaria, where he'd enslaved a dangerous race of insect-like creatures, the Rachni. He ordered Benezia to use the same technique Liara had used on me to extract information from the Rachni Queen. The Queen's drones were everywhere, and they weren't happy. We had to fight through hundreds of them to get to Benezia. By the time we arrived, Saren was gone, with the information. I tried to reason with Benezia, but Saren had indoctrinated her. He had somehow acquired the ability to control people's actions and wills. Benezia wouldn't surrender, and Liara was forced to watch her mother die in her arms. And I was left with an angry, dangerous Rachni Queen to deal with. She claimed her drones would do no harm if I released her. But the Rachni had terrorized the galaxy before. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't doom an entire species for past sins. And the Queen was true to her word. She left and took her army of drones with her. With Saren's top lieutenant dead, he was quickly running out of time and places to hide. I tracked him down at his base on Vermeer, but we soon learned it was more than a base of operations. It was a breeding ground. Saren was breeding an army of Krogan. He'd found a cure for the genophage, a disease inflicted on the Krogan to prevent them from breeding and taking over the galaxy. But the Krogan Saren was breeding were slaves, mindless beasts that obeyed Saren's will. I had to destroy the base, and all its research. Rex disagreed. Violently. Rex wanted the genophage cure for his people. I tried to convince him to help me destroy it, that these Krogan weren't real. But he wouldn't back down. Fortunately, Rex is smarter than he looks. He realized this wasn't the way to help his people, and that Saren was the real threat. When we finally got to the center of the base, I realized just how close Saren was to completing his plan. He was already in communication with the Reapers. Sovereign, Saren's flagship we'd all assumed was just a ship, was a Reaper. It spoke to me, threatened me. I could feel the menace it had for every living thing. It wanted me dead. It wanted us all dead. And I knew it was capable of doing just that. What I couldn't understand was why Saren would help it. But there was no time to think about it. Sovereign knew where we were. We had to destroy the base and get the hell out. I split up my team in 2 squads, sending Ash with one and Caden with the other as a distraction. We had a nuke, and we planned to use it. Before we could detonate the bomb, Saren showed up. We fought. I stalled him to make time for my team. And in talking to him, I realized the truth. It wasn't Saren who was indoctrinating everyone. It was Sovereign. The Reaper. And Saren was in deeper than all of them. He tried to convince me he was still in control. Said he found a way to reduce the Reaper's influence, but he was kidding himself. Or believing the lies Sovereign was telling him. Before I could convince him to stop, he ran, leaving me just seconds to extract my squad mates. I tried, but I wasn't fast enough. I could only save one of them. Caden was a good man, and a great soldier. But I had to choose, and I chose Ash. That was the last time Saren would slip away from me. I knew then, the next time we met, one of us would die. With my team mostly intact, we chased Saren and his army to Ilos, a long-lost planet that had once belonged to the Protheans. As we prepared for what we knew would be a desperate fight, I spoke to my crew. We were just one ship, against Saren's growing army. I assured them all that despite the odds, we could defeat him. I'd never tell anyone, but I had my doubts. Leaving Caden behind had hardened my resolve, but revealed a soft spot in my defenses. How many more friends and allies would I be willing to sacrifice in order to stop Saren? We arrived on Ilos, close behind Saren. Once on the planet, we discovered a Prothean databank that helped me put the final pieces of my vision together. The Reapers had come 50,000 years ago, and every 50,000 years before that, each time purging the galaxy of life. The Protheans had fought and died, like every species before them. But a few survived long enough to leave a parting gift. The Protheans had discovered that the Citadel was the key to controlling the mass relays. By sabotaging the Citadel, they found a way to close the relays to dark space, slowing the Reapers' return, giving us the time we needed to find a solution to stop the Reapers once and for all. Saren knew this. He was leading his army to take control of the Citadel and re-establish the relays to dark space, bringing the waiting Reapers here to destroy us all. We followed him to the Citadel. It was intact, but heavily damaged. He had caught the Council fleets by surprise, and they were only now regrouping. And with Sovereign as his flagship, there was little hope the fleets could counterattack with enough strength to take back the Citadel. But Saren was done running, and I was done chasing him. As the Alliance and Citadel fleets battled Saren's army outside, I cornered the Turian bastard in the Citadel tower and confronted him. He died believing that the Reapers would save him. As I fought to regain control of the Citadel, the Council's flagship, the Destiny Ascension, fell under attack. Despite Saren's death, Sovereign and Saren's army continued to fight. The Council was aboard the Destiny Ascension, and they were requesting assistance. But I knew in order to help them, I would have to put our human alliance fleet in jeopardy. The Council could be replaced. The fleets were needed here and now if we were going to defeat Sovereign. Even with the Citadel back in my control, Saren defeated, and the Normandy leading the combined galactic fleet, the battle against Sovereign, a single Reaper, was relentless. It took the combined fleets of humanity and the other races, but in the end, Sovereign fell. But the costs were immense. While humanity's efforts in the war earned us our first seat on the Council, it was a hollow victory. The Reapers were still out there. I knew the fight was far from over, but as the one who'd led the fight against Saren, I was given new responsibilities. The choice of humanity's first counselor was left for me to decide. On the one hand, Udina, the lifetime politician. Ruthless and ambitious, he would easily navigate the political landmines that would soon be put in front of him. The other choice, Captain Anderson, the career soldier. Tough but fair, but a friend, and someone I could trust. Both great leaders in their own right. Anderson didn't want the job, which was a sure sign he'd be perfect for it. No ambition to get in the way. The war was over. The threat had passed. In time, the Council would rebuild itself. The Citadel could be repaired. Even the pain of lost friends would fade. But none of that mattered if the Reapers were still out there. And if they were all as powerful as Sovereign, we had to find a way to stop them. I had to find a way. I gathered my crew, took my ship, and went in search of answers. Officially, the Council would only say I was assigned to cleanup duty, rooting out any remnants of Saren's army. Just another routine mission.
And there you have it. That is a pretty comprehensive summary of everything that happened in Mass Effect 1. And I'm glad we did take the time to listen to that, because that was well done. I liked the amount of detail and also the way that it also included relevant music from the points in the game in which that showed up.
The Lazarus Project will proceed as planned.
Alright, and, well, of course, we saw at the end of that intro sequence, Shepard got ejected from the ship and went out, careening off into space, and seemingly just got frozen. You know, succumbed to either the cold of empty space, or you know the lack of atmosphere, lack of pressure. But we'll get more information on this whole Lazarus project soon. Facial reconstruction. I would say let's go with the default appearance here. Not necessarily looking to switch things up at all, I don't think. Although, of course, if you're looking to do that, then you have options there. But let's stick with the defaults here. And we get to choose our class. Now, I suppose I'll give you just a brief overview of what all the classes are about. These are the same classes that were available in Mass Effect 1, but we have the option of changing our class in Mass Effect 2 if we would like to. So we have Soldier, first of all. The high-level operatives are outfitted with ocular synaptic processors that allow them to focus on targets with lethal accuracy. Power training, adrenaline rush, concussive shot, those are the sort of unique to Soldier abilities that we will get, which is something that is new to Mass Effect 2 specifically, is that in Mass Effect 1, there were some abilities that you had... of course, the abilities you had access to were based on what class you chose, but for the most part, there was some overlap between the different classes, so there weren't really any things that were exclusive to a specific class. However, that is no longer the case in Mass Effect 2. There is much more of a unique feel to each individual class. So, weapon training, assault rifle, shotgun, sniper rifle, heavy pistol, basically everything for soldiers. Then ammo training, incendiary, cryo, disruptor. Soldiers are pure combat specialists. No one is tougher or more effective at taking down enemies with gunfire. Soldiers have the most thorough weapons training and can use all special ammo types. So basically, the idea of soldiers is you are shooting people. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. If you're looking for it to be just a straightforward shooter game, then Soldier is your class. Then we have Infiltrators. Infiltrators are equipped with cloaking systems that allow them to avoid detection for short periods of time, granting a tactical advantage over enemies. Power training, they gain Tactical Cloak, which is what I was talking about before, one of the new abilities that are unique to this specific class, the Infiltrator, Incinerate and AI hacking, or at least I believe it's that first ability that is the one that is unique to this class. In the case of Soldier, it's Adrenaline Rush. In the case of Infiltrator, it is Tactical Cloak. They are sniper rifle, heavy pistol, and submachine gun users, and they can use cryo and disruptor ammo. And so they are basically a hybrid between tech and combat specialists. Of course, Soldiers being pure combat, Infiltrators being the hybrid between combat and tech. So with the unique ability to cloak themselves from visual and technological detection, Infiltrators are deadly at range with a wide variety of weapons, equipment, and powers that can take down any enemy. So, yes, you can quite literally disappear for a short period of time, which is pretty darn cool. So, Infiltrator, one of the classes that has gotten the most significant changes in between Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2. Then we have Vanguard. Vanguards are outfitted with L5N implants, enabling them to perform a biotic charge that strikes the opponent with incredible force while bringing the Vanguard in close for short-range combat. So their unique ability is this Biotic Charge, which is another one of the new abilities that are unique to the Vanguard class in Mass Effect 2. Also have Pull and Shockwave, and then from a weapon standpoint, shotguns, heavy pistols, and submachine guns, and incendiary and cryo ammo. So Vanguards are also a hybrid class. They are feared for their high-risk, high-reward combat style, closing quickly on enemies and destroying them at close range with weapons and biotic abilities. So they're the hybrid between combat and biotics. Then we have Sentinels, and we'll talk more about biotics in just a second, I imagine. Sentinels are equipped with the most advanced ablation armor system to keep themselves safe. If overloaded, the system will stun all enemies with a short distance. So they have Tech Armor, which is the Sentinel-specific ability in Mass Effect 2, as well as Throw, Warp, Overload, and Cryoblast, heavy pistols, submachine guns. So Sentinels are unique, bring both tech and biotic abilities to the battlefield. They are the ultimate jack of all trades, master of none. A little bit of tech, a little bit of biotics. It technically means they don't have any combat training, but you still get access to a heavy pistol and a submachine gun. While they lack the focus of Adepts and Engineers, they are versatile and can handle any situation. This is, of course, the class that we used in Mass Effect 1, so for that reason, I think definitely not what we will use in Mass Effect 2, but because it has the new tech armor ability in this Sentinel class. If you played Sentinel in Mass Effect 1, you might still want to go Mass Effect 2 Sentinel as well. Then we have Adept. Adepts are outfitted with L5X implants that can spawn a micro-singularity, damaging enemies and pulling them into the air. We did see Singularity in Mass Effect 1, however, it has been reworked a little bit, I think, in Mass Effect 2, and in addition to Warp, Pro, Pull, and Shockwave, and then the Heavy Pistol and Submachine Gun. So Adepts are the Biotic Specialists. All-out Biotics, again, like the Sentinel, you do have access to the basic weapons, but no crazy training there, capable of disabling and killing enemies with raw biotic power. And since I was saying it before, I suppose, go into the explanation now. Biotics, basically telekinetic powers of some variety. You know, there are various ways in which you can make it happen with a few different types of skills, but that's the general idea of it. So anyone who has access to biotics can use those abilities, and the Adept has the most of those types of abilities. It is the Biotic Specialist. While they lack advanced combat training, they are the best at defeating enemies without firing a shot. Then we have the Engineer, lastly, who can spawn combat drones to harass enemies or force them out of entrenched cover positions. So the combat drone is their unique ability, as well as Overload, Incinerate, AI Hacking, and Cryoblast to round things out, and they can use heavy pistols and submachine guns. They are the Tech Specialists, and they are the only class able to use those combat drones in the battlefield. Engineers are most effective class at blasting through enemy defenses and disabling opponents. So, again, combat drone being the unique thing here, they are the Tech Specialists, so they have the most tech abilities, and only have access to the heavy pistol and submachine gun. So, all this being said, in all of my Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 playthroughs, there is now only one class that I've never played in the campaign, and that is Vanguard. So, for that reason, I would like to go with Vanguard here. And so, again, our unique feature here is that we have that Biotic Charge, which is, of course, Biotic ability, in which we'll just slam straight into people. And for that reason, we are generally more of a close-range specialist, you know, once we charge in, using things like our shotgun to finish the job if we haven't already taken enemies out. But it is definitely higher risk, higher reward, because, of course, when we're right next to enemies like that, we are potentially quite vulnerable. So, especially like we were talking about before, amping up the difficulty a little bit in Mass Effect 2, we might be in a little bit over our heads at some point, so we're going to be living on the edge. But you know what? I'm up for the challenge. Let's do it. So, other than that, just looking at how things round out here, I'm actually not even sure if we can change our origin, reputation, and class, or well, obviously we just changed our class, but we locked in our origin and reputation in Mass Effect 1, so I think we're ready to go here. And once we confirm, of course, we're locked in, but I think we're good to go.
There, on the monitor. Something's wrong.
He's reacting to outside stimuli, showing an awareness of his surroundings. Oh my God, Miranda, I think he's waking up.
Damn it, Wilson. He's not ready yet. Give him the sedative.
Shepard, don't try to move. Just lie still. Try to stay calm.
Heart rate's still climbing. Brain activity is off the charts. Stats pushing into the red zone. It's not working.
Another dose. Now.
Heart rate dropping. Stats falling back into normal range.
Alright, see you guys later.
Close. We almost lost him.
I told you your estimates were off. Run the numbers again.
Wake up, Commander. Shepard, do you hear me? Get out of that bed now. This facility is under attack.
Oh, that sounds important.
Shepard, your scars aren't healed, but I need you to get moving. This facility is under attack. There's a pistol in the locker on the other side of the room. Hurry!
Okay.
Grab the pistol and armor from the locker.
Okay, so we are now
You don't
in
have time to wait around,
for
Shepard. Grab
reals.
your weapon and armor.
This pistol doesn't have a thermal clip.
It's a med bay. We'll get you a clip from. Damn it! Those canisters by the door are going to blow. Get behind cover now.
Okay,
Keep
so
your head down, Shepard. Shield yourself from the blast.
lots of things happening here. You may notice that we just got a lot of morality points here, which, as we were talking about at the very beginning, is, well, the morality system in Mass Effect, and we got those based on our decisions in Mass Effect 1. We were almost entirely a Paragon playthrough there, so that's why you see our blue bar much more full than our orangey red bar. But we did experiment a little bit with some of the Renegade options every now and again, so we've got a little bit of that stuff going on as well. Here we will see our abilities as well, and I imagine we'll probably look at these a little bit more in just a second. But you can also see our journal for what we have here. We have already completed Prologue Save Joker. Joker has been saved, but the Normandy got destroyed in the process, and Shepard went down with it. Then, now we are on the Prologue, Awakening. We've regained consciousness in some kind of medical facility, but we must find our way to safety. Apparently this place is under attack, so we will complete our tutorials here, including dropping down. And if I could remember what the reload button is, that would be great.
Someone's hacking security trying to kill you. Look for a thermal clip for your pistol.
Now, let's see. So this is our... Oh, maybe it's just that we don't have any ammo. That's probably something to do with it. Huzzah. There we go. Okay. Huzzah.
Looks like they set up a barricade to try holding the mechs off.
Mechs, you say?
Look out!
Oh. Ow. I wanted to actually hover or go back over this cover, if you don't mind. I actually did not see where the shots were getting fired from. Over there. Okay, we've got a hacked mech. And one thing that we actually can do is punch it to death. And once upon a time, in the original Mass Effect 2, there was an achievement for killing a certain number of enemies with melee specifically. And this was generally the easiest way to get it, or at least get close to finishing that achievement, was punching the enemies in this tutorial to death. Because, of course, as you can probably imagine, tutorial is easier than the rest of the game. But I believe that achievement no longer exists in Legendary Edition. Instead, there's an achievement for across all 3 games, getting a number of melee kills. The number is much higher. So by no means are we going to be able to complete it in just this mission alone.
Shepard, security mechs are closing in on your position. Take cover.
Okay. Thought I saw some additional clips there. There are some. That's the other thing, is we can definitely save some ammo as well. Nice there. Looks like we could potentially melee this guy as well, wait for him to come in. That might be the play. If we are actually trying to get some melee kills. I mean, we're all out on it, but give it a shot. Now, just punch you real quick. That doesn't sound good. Oh, there are more of them, as it turns out. And we actually took a fair bit of damage. Wow. Okay, there's suddenly a lot more of them. So you can see our life bar there. And we are going quite low at the moment. Hold on a second. Hold on a second while I take a quick look at potentially allocating some skill points here. Because we could probably use a little bit of help right now. You know, it's a little bit cheeky earlier. Deliberately trying to melee people, but perhaps didn't have that luxury for long. Probably melee you as well. There we go.
Nice work, Shepard. Coast is clear.
One moment while we get our shields back as well after taking no damage for a little while. So, yes. Little bit tougher. Little bit tougher. I think even on the tutorial might be a little bit more difficult on the higher difficulties. We can, of course, pick up some additional ammo here, although I think that for the most part, we were conservative enough with our ammo choices that, or by ammo choices, I mean not firing at people, that we should be pretty safe here, but there is a little bit more in there if needed. Let's carry on, though. That doesn't look good. Okay. I'll take your word for it. Those people didn't look very safe.
More reinforcements heading your way. Grab the grenade launcher off the security officer's body.
Okay, don't mind if I do.
Here come the mechs. Use the grenade launcher to take them out.
And I believe they actually only start coming out once we do this. So, whatever. Oh no, that's just the door. Okay, I was gonna say. Can we make a point of looting something first? So, switch over. We have been using our heavy pistol, but now we go to the grenade launcher. So once we switch, I believe they actually come out. We technically, I think we could switch back if we really wanted to save our ammo for it, because this is a heavy weapon of sorts. It has its own separate type of ammo, and so it is more limited, the amount of ammo that we get for it. And you'll notice here, you see that when it comes to the weapons, we get a little bit of additional description here. When it comes to heavy pistol, reliable, accurate sidearm, effective against armor, weak against shields and biotic barriers. So, in Mass Effect, there's of course health, as we're seeing on these active mechs right here, as well as armor, shields, and barriers. Those are the 4 types of defenses. And each one of them functions a little bit differently, which is unlike in Mass Effect 1. Because certain types of weapons and abilities will deal more damage or less damage depending on what type of defenses your opponent has. And so here you see, in the case of the pistol, it's effective against armor, but it's weak against shields and barriers, so it's a type of thing where, to the extent possible, of course, we want to try to be mindful of that and choose whatever weapon or ability is most suited to the situation. So, we'll stick with the grenade launcher for now, I think, and don't know to what extent there's, like, any drop-off. Oh, nope, it's, turns out, it shoots right where the reticle is pointed. So I was expecting for there to be some grenade drop on the first one, and whiffed in the process. Let's switch back over to our pistol now, I think. Okay. This doesn't look good.
Hurry, get to the door, run.
Okay, we're running. That wasn't so bad, was it?
You're doing fine, Shepard. Head to the next room and I'll try to meet you. Shepard,
Okay.
free me. I've got them closing in on my position.
Okay, sounds like they're what? Close on your position? Okay, so, does appear as though we've got some enemies in here. See a hacked mech. Oh, let's take them out before they get up. That made things much easier. Okay, let's see what we have here. We have a Cerberus laptop with data logs.
Progress is slow, but subject shows signs of recovery. Major organs are again functional, and there are signs of rudimentary neurological activity. In an effort to accelerate the process, we've moved from simple organic reconstruction of the subject to biosynthetic fusion. Initial results show promise.
And I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but yes, the game does look pretty awesome for Legendary Edition. Of course, it has been remastered relative to the initial Mass Effect 2, so it's looking great thus far.
Log update. The cost of this project is astronomical, over 4 billion credits so far, but nobody seems to care that we've gone over budget. I don't know where the boss gets all his money. Maybe it's better not to know. I just wish he'd kick a little more in my direction once in a while.
Now, hold on, buddy. The project is getting expensive. That means the money's getting scarce. That's probably not the time for you to be asking for a raise. Okay, so we can reload a little bit here, but I think that's just about everything in this little area. Give us a little bit of additional... Oh, no, hold on. Got a wall safe, which gives us some additional credits, which are, well, the Mass Effect money currency. So, I think that's now everything over there. Some additional information about what's going on with this Lazarus project. Okay. And what? That doesn't look good. Sorry?
Log update. I can't figure Miranda out. As project director, she should be ecstatic at all the progress we've made. But she's still the same old Ice Queen. Maybe she's worried Shepard might become the new favorite. Or maybe she is just a pure cold-hearted bitch.
Well, I suppose we've been forewarned, right? Alright, let's carry on.
I've got it.
Oh. Hold on a second here.
Drop. Get over here.
Ooh, nifty trick you got there, buddy.
What are you doing here? Thought you were still a work in progress.
Who are you exactly? Jacob?
Are you with Miranda? Yeah, sorry. I forgot this is all new to you right now. I'm Jacob Taylor. I've been stationed here for—
Hostiles detected.
Damn it!
Good shot.
Things must be worse than I thought if Miranda's got you running around. I'll fill you in, but we better get you to the shuttle first.
Okay, well, see, the thing is, like, a lot of stuff is happening right now, and it'd be kind of good to get a few more answers first. So just a few questions.
I know this isn't the best time, but I'm sick of stumbling around when I don't know what's going on.
Fair enough. I'll give you the quick version. You and your ship were attacked and destroyed. You were killed. Dead as dead can be when they brought you here. Our scientists spent the last 2 years putting you back together. You've been comatose, or worse, that whole time. Welcome back to your life.
Yeah, so, we have more or less been resurrected, brought back from the dead. That was, apparently, the objective of this Lazarus project. But, okay, that answers at least one of the big questions. Where exactly are we, though?
This doesn't look like an Alliance facility.
It isn't. I can't say much more than that for now. The Alliance officially declared you killed in action. The whole galaxy thinks you're dead.
Oh!
If we don't get to those shuttles, they'll be right.
Okay, see, but the thing is also we had a crew of teammates, and, how did they fare?
Were there any other survivors from the Normandy?
I'll tell you what. You help me finish off these mechs, and I'll play 20 questions with you all day. We're low on thermal clips, but I'm a biotic. Just give the order when you want me to hit them with the good stuff.
And that's what he means. So as a reminder, biotics have access to some additional abilities, including in this case, well, this is us down here. We have Charge, which is what we were talking about when we were choosing our class. Using a damaging shockwave, ram into an enemy with incredible force. Whereas Jacob can pull, which levitates enemies, rendering them helpless while they drift towards us. So, I believe we actually cannot proceed in this mission unless and until we use a pull ability either from Jacob or ourselves. And, well, Jacob can do so right here. And, I believe he has a ridiculous cooldown time here. As you can see, we can basically immediately redo it. Normally there would be a somewhat significant cooldown in between using these abilities, but at least for this tutorial section here, we can just spam it.
Okay. I promised I'd answer your questions. What do you want to know?
A lot, probably. Let's start with, I guess, you.
What's your job here?
Depends on who you ask. Technically, I'm Miranda's top lieutenant, but I'm just a soldier. I served 5 years in the Alliance before this. Now I'm in charge of the station's security. Usually a lot more dull than this. Normally I don't fire my gun unless it's target practice.
Okay. That tells us some things, yes, at least your role. But, okay, what about our injuries? Because we apparently were completely dead, and obviously we are not dead anymore.
You said they spent 2 years rebuilding me? How bad were my injuries?
I'm no doctor, but it was bad. When I first saw you, you were nothing but meat and tubes. Anywhere else, they'd have put you in a coffin. But Project Lazarus was different. Cutting-edge technology.
Yeah, what exactly do you mean by that? Because that's pretty crazy if you can quite literally bring people back from the dead.
What do you mean? Cloning? Cybernetics?
I don't know the details. You'd have to ask the scientists. But I'm pretty sure you're not a clone. They wanted to bring you back exactly as you were. You're still you. You just might have a few extra bits and pieces now.
Okay, I guess that's one way to put it. So then, what is the whole deal with this attack on the station? Because, we woke up and immediately the place was under attack, and it seems like primarily by mechs of some variety, and so, were they here initially? And they seem to all say hacked. So were they part of the defense force and then they've gotten, hacked, or have they been brought in and, there's someone else trying to attack us?
Do you know anything about this attack? Who's behind it? What they're after?
Damned if I know. I was getting ready for some shut-eye, then bam! Bunch of explosions. Next thing I know, every damn mech in the place starts shooting at us. I'm guessing it had to be an inside job. You'd need top security access to hack all the mechs.
Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So we're looking for, perhaps, somebody who is, inside on the job. Then, we asked about our crew a little bit here, and you basically said we didn't have time to discuss that, but now that at least the immediate mech threat is away...
The last thing I remember is the Normandy blowing up. Did anyone else make it?
Just about everybody survived. A few servicemen from the lower decks didn't get out. Navigator Presley was killed by an explosion. But everyone else, including the non-Alliance crew, the Asari, Liara, and the Quarian, they all made it out alive.
Okay, that sounds good. If, for the most part, our crew survived, but where are they? Because, you know, if we were to be resurrected, one would probably have imagined they would have been the ones that were here to help us out and get us reacclimated with things, but, they do not appear to be anywhere in sight.
Do you know what any of them are doing now?
I don't know, Commander. It's been 2 years. They've moved on. Left the Alliance. Could be anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to find them. They were of course, our closest allies.
If they knew I was alive, they'd come back.
Maybe you can track them down after we get off the station. If we get off the station.
Okay, so then, finally, let's talk about Miranda, who appears to be the person who's running the show here.
When I first woke up, someone named Miranda was talking to me over the radio. We lost contact just before I ran into you.
Miranda Lawson is the station's ranking officer.
Okay.
She led the Lazarus team. It was her job to bring you back to life, no matter what. Should have guessed she'd try to save you. She's not about to give up on you now. You said you lost contact. Could you tell what was happening?
I mean, last we heard of her, from her, it sounded like she was, getting attacked. As though the mechs were starting to move in on her position.
There was some gunfire and an explosion right before I lost her.
She knows how to take care of herself. But I hope she's okay.
Okay, and I think that's everything here. So let's get out of here.
What's the quickest way to those shuttles?
Depends where the mechs are thickest. It's probably best if we...
Check. Anyone on this frequency? Anybody still alive out there? Hello?
Wilson, this is Jacob. I'm here with Commander Shepard. Just took out a wave of mechs over in D-Wing.
Shepard's alive? How the hell? Never mind. You need to get him out of there. Get to the service tunnels and head for the network control room.
Roger that, Wilson. Stay on this frequency.
Okay, who is this Wilson guy?
I think I remember a Wilson checking on me one time when I woke up.
Yeah, with Miranda,
That's it.
right?
He's the chief medical tech. Answers directly to Miranda. Come on. The service tunnels are this way.
Okay, so... now we have Jacob on the team, and as we can see, like I was saying before, he has the pole ability, and also has some incendiary ammo, which is actually an ability that we have access to as well. And it may be worth taking a second here to look at our squad a bit, because as I was saying before, we do, of course, have some skills here that we can upgrade. We have incendiary ammo, which burns through armor, setting enemies on fire and damaging health. So what this does is burns wounds of organic targets, so that being humans and aliens, but notably not mechs, blocking health regeneration, damaging armor, and making unshielded enemies panic. Synthetic enemies are more resistant to fire damage, so not as good against mechs, but is theoretically something that is increasing our damage at least a little bit, because 20% of our weapon damage will get added on as fire damage over 3 seconds. And then the big thing for the Vanguard class is, of course, the Biotic Charge. We envelop ourselves in a Mass Effect field that launches us at an enemy, bodily hitting them to damage and knock them back. And so, this case, the recharge time is basically insignificant here because you put it on once and then you have it active indefinitely until it gets overridden by some other ammo ability that you put on instead. Whereas this one has a 6-second recharge time, has a decent range of 40 meters, and hits them with a chunk of force, and then we can, of course, level this up and make it more powerful, and eventually actually restore some of our shields when we charge into people, which is sort of the high-risk, high-reward playstyle of the Vanguard. Is you charge in, get up close to them, deal a lot of damage in the process, and of course, that does put you in a vulnerable position. However, by getting back your shields, you are effectively increasing or restoring your effective life, because in Mass Effect, at least for our character, we have our health bar, and then on top of that we have either shields, or technically it may get referred to as barriers, depending on what class you're playing as. That may not be the case, but either way, it will restore our shields, at least by 50% here, and if we level it up, we can get it potentially all the way up to 100%. So there's that, and then we have the Assault Mastery, which is basically our passive abilities here, where we can increase our health, our weapon damage, our power recharge time, and also increase the rate at which we are gaining Paragon and Renegade points, and this also works retroactively to increase the points that we've already gained thus far in our playthrough. So, this may actually be the thing that we start off with here. Probably the least dramatic effect in the short term, but long term is going to be quite important for us to load up on that Paragon and Renegade point stuffs. So, probably going to go this route here, and then Charge will probably be our next priority after that. So let's throw some points in this, and also new to Mass Effect 2. In Mass Effect 1, previously what we saw was we had, of course, a bunch of abilities like this, and then each individual upgrade cost us 1 point. However, in Mass Effect 2, it works a little bit differently here. So the first level in any ability costs us 1 point, but then it goes up to 2, and 3, then ultimately 4, and actually, once you reach rank 4, you have 2 choices. For every ability, you have 2 options. And the effects will vary depending on which option you take, so that gives you a little bit more room for creativity and individuality there to take what route feels like it is the most fitting for your playstyle. So I think we'll throw a bunch of points in here, and because, again, it costs more points to get these higher levels, we can't yet fully level up our Assault Mastery, but we can go all the way up to rank 3, which will give us somewhat sizable health bonus, weapon bonus, weapon damage bonus, and recharge time bonus, as well as far more in a way of our Renegade and Paragon points. So if we do this, then I think that should put us in a decent place here, and then we could even throw in another rank 2 upgrade for Charge, but I think we'll save our points here to try to just immediately get to Assault Mastery 4. So this looks good to me. And then can we also, no, I don't think we can do anything with Jacob here at the moment. So let's carry on in that case. Pick up some additional ammo while we're at it. And also, look at this.
Project is about to enter the final phase. It's taken nearly 2 years, but we did it. Commander Shepard is alive. This is the most amazing medical achievement in recorded history. Maybe now Miranda will finally show some appreciation for everything I've done.
Does seem like Wilson is a little bit bitter about that.